morning, YouTube. I'm back out here working early because we're in Louisiana, and it was 101. The feeling was 112 yesterday. They said it has broke records for Louisiana, I guess. It has to be. Can't be the world. It can't be the United States. It has to be for Louisiana. It broke a record from 1996 of being that. So it's hot. So we get out here early. We take off during the day when it's hot. Try to stay cool. Drink plenty of water. And then we're back out here at the late evenings, trying to get things caught up a little bit more. And that's what it takes during these times. During the winter, it's going to be the opposite. You can get up late or whatever, work in the middle of the day, and then you're back in. But that's winter. Now it's summer. It's hotter than a Wells digger ass in the crack or whatever. It's hot. But anyway, I want to share you with I got this 6-in-1 trimmer, chainsaw, weed whacker, weed eater, and all of that stuff, the extra blades and all that neat stuff. But I've seen some videos where some people have had trouble with their chainsaw, and I think I know why, but I want to explain that as... Okay, this is a 6-in-1. I think they pronounce it Vivar. But as you can see, I paid $160 for it, which is a good deal for 6-in-1 gas trimmer. Yeah, all that stuff. But look over here on the next page. They went up. What did I pay? What? 160. 70, 80. They've gone up $20. They've done sold 784 of them. They still got 10 available. But anyhow, my main reason for this is also I know this brand name. I've ordered a lot of different stuff for that brand name. Car lifts, diesel heater, and a printer that cuts vinyl, vinyl cutter, a big vinyl cutter, and all of it's by this company. And I may even have something else, but that is what I needed. Was right there. That chainsaw. And because I've already got a trimmer for grass. It's a whole separate unit than this one. It's got its own story, but all this stuff that comes along with it is pretty neat too. What the heck? Give it a try if you never had any. All this other stuff, no matter it's cheap, it's not the high top brand, but it will hold up. Take care of it, it will hold up. But yeah, and let me show you how we serviced it, and everything. Right out of the box, we serviced it to make sure that everything was tightened, everything was lubed, greased, and everything. Because they might have didn't do as much as you're thinking they did, you know. It doesn't hurt to check your stuff before you put it to use. Okay, this is some of the attachments and stuff here, and that will come in handy. This will come in handy here too for me, because I've got some stuff that needs to be trimmed like that. And it's adjustable. It's adjustable. All this is nice stuff, but you got to take care of it. You got to grease it. You got to oil it. You got to check it. Every once in a while, tighten the screws on it. All this inexpensive stuff here will come in handy. That's the trimmer. Oh, that's okay. Let me move on down. But this is my main reason right here. And you can put an extension, an extra extension on here to reach way up there. And that's what I needed. So I'm going to show you how I lubed and greased and tightened and checked all that out here in just a minute. And this one here too, how I lubed and greased it. How it works. Service this one. I've already serviced it, but I'm going to walk you through it just like you feel like you just did it yourself. Let's go look at it. This is it. This is a 6-in-1 right here. Let me get back here. And The two blades I'm dealing with right now, actually I'm going to get the third one out too and show it to you. But I started off with the chainsaw one, servicing it, because it is the one that I needed mostly, because I got some limbs that are hard to get to and be too unsafe for me to, on the ladder, getting up there, and I can reach out and nip it until it falls with this. But I didn't want it to break down. I want to do a good job. So the first thing to notice is there is an alemite right here. That's for greasing. That's for using a grease gun like this here. Right here, a grease gun. Now, use a grease gun. I'm trying to do this with one hand. This thing here, you got to loosen up. Watch it, it'll thread out. Now, once it threads out like that, then you snap it on. Then you can snap it on your alemite. You push down. I can't do it right here because I use both hands. You push it down and then you tighten. We're going to fix this up. You guys got to know, because I think some of you are not doing this. Okay, the alemite thing. Let me get a rag because I know things are going to mess up. There are alamites on these that need to be serviced. They might have put a little grease in it at the factory and sent it on, but we're responsible to take care of our equipment as soon as we get it in. Even though it's brand new, we need to check it out. You want it to last, you got to check it out. Make sure everything's tight. Okay, the grease gun. Loosen this up here and then push it down on there. Snap, you heard it snap? And then tighten this up here. Tighten it up. I would have put on gloves, but it's cumbersome to try to do that in video. Okay, and then you fill this thing up with grease until you see it come out somewheres, which I have already done. I want to show you where it's coming out. Then you loosen this up to get it off, and then you unsnap it, and then you can just screw this back in to keep up with it. Right here, see where the grease just come out? That's where the grease just came out. It's going to come out somewhere. So it's going to come out up here. I didn't add this outside. That went through that alemite and came out here and under there. So this whole gear section that's behind this plate is full of grease, like it should be. They put some in there, yes, but you're responsible to fill it up. That's the way I look at me. I'm responsible for filling it up. The next thing I did is I got me a set of these. There's the SAE American ones, or the red ones, and these are the Japanese type, the metric, Japanese type. And but then match it up and tighten it. Check them all. Make sure they're tight. Make sure they're snug. And I've already done that. Make sure they're all snug no matter what. But not only these you need to check, but there'll be some on the other side. You got to check these. And if you're not sure if this thing here is working, I can't even remember what you call it now, alemite. You can pull that alemite out. That's an 8mm. Pull it out and take your needle that you can clip on. You can clip a needle on here. It's a needle adapter that you put on there and it sticks out. It's got like a needle, and you can screw this, tighten it up, and you put it in that hole and pump it and fill it up. You can do it either way. I've already pulled this one out to make sure it's going in there, even though I knew it was, but just to make double sure. Okay, make sure these little Phillips screws are tight. There's one here, there's one here. All right. So after that's all said and done, then You want to fill this up with bar oil. Okay? Get your little funnel out that comes with it. Get your bar oil and pour it in there, which I've already done. Okay? Now once you've done that, what I did extra to make sure that everything's going to work out right, right here, let me get a pointer. Right here is where the oil's going to come out. The pump that supplies from this canister, that oil's going to come out here because your chain runs around this and out that way. So that way this oil is delivered to the chain to keep it lubricated. But what I did is I sprayed some gun oil up in there. I sprayed a little gun oil up in there. That way if there's a little pump, it ain't trying to do it dry. It's got a little lubrication to help it out. So after all that's done, then you want to do this, which I'm going to show you in just a minute. Then you want to crank it up and make sure it's working. And then you got to rev it up. You'll see it leaking down there, which I know there's a lot. That's a lot of scrap to, I build things with that. But anyhow, I'm going to crank it up and that oil's going to come out of there. You may not see it because there's not enough light here. But I'll show you the drip down there. That's where it leaked, right there. Now, I don't even have the chain on there. I want to make sure everything's working properly before I even put the chain on there and the bar. Okay? So, let's move on to the next one. Let me get this out of the way. The hedge trimmer. The hedge trimmer right here. I'm not going to hook it up on the machine. I'm just going to show you how I serviced it. That's all this video is about, is servicing my pointer. There is a Elamite here and one here. There's two on there. Two Elamites. And you will do the same thing as I showed you on the other one. You will loosen this up. You will stick it on there, mash it down, loosen that up some more, mash it down, and then tighten it up. And then pump. It will come out somewhere. I'm going to show you where it come out, because I've already done this. If you look right here, you'll see where it came out. That grease is going to come out somewheres, and you need it to come out. That way you know it's working. Then you got the Elamite here also. This Elamite here you need to fill up. Now I noticed it came out down in here, right there. That's where it come out. Okay. Once I did that, then I went back and tightened and checked all these screws. Make sure they're all tight. Check every one of them. Make sure they're all tight. Just snug them up pretty good. Now if you feel like it's going to come loose, put your little Loctite on it. As you're working on this thing, you need to service it every once in a while. And if it starts vibrating loose, put you just a little small dab of Loctite. Let me show you. This stuff right here, I've had it around for a while. I use it. It's the blue. It's not the hardest, I mean the strongest one, because I may want to get it off of there. You know, I don't need something that's going to be difficult to get off. Okay. Now once you've done all of that, then what I did is I added me a little bit of oil. Let me go get it. And I just added a little oil, like right here where this thing here clamps, right here where you can adjust it, move the angle. I put me a little oil down in there just to lubricate it a little bit. I wouldn't put it on this other part, but you could. But mainly down here where this here pinches and moves, put a little oil there. And then I oiled this. I took these off. And I went down through here and I oiled each one of these. And I oiled in between here where this is going to slide. It's going to slide on every one of those. Put me a little oil in there just to make sure that it's got plenty. And you may want to do that as you're working. Take you one of these with you. I'll do it with a chainsaw just to make sure you get plenty of oil. And then they'll last longer. And then once you do that, put your protector things back on here. And you could put a rubber band or something around to hold all this on there, a little piece of rope or something. So now we've serviced this one, and we serviced the other one. We got one more. This dude here. Yep. This dude here. Alright, so there's a place to grease this too. Right here. Now I've noticed some people can find an alamite that's threaded, that will thread into there, then they can hook an alamite and grease it. My alamites would not fit in there. It was the wrong thread. But what I did do is I put a needle. I don't have the needles over here. They're put up into a box way back there in the back. But you unscrew this a little bit and the needle's got an alamite on the end of it. The needle with an alamite. And then you slide that alamite up in here, tighten this down, and now you got a new tool that's got a needle sticking out. Then you can remove this. You can remove this with one of these Allen wrench, and then fill that sucker up. Just fill it up, fill it up, fill it up, fill it up. And then once you get it filled up, then you put this back in there and tighten it up. Then you go and check all of these. Make sure they're tight. Go down in here, pull this out. There's some screws here. This is the back side of it. They're down under this thing here. You got to remove this. This is left-handed. It's the opposite way than what you usually do to keep it from spinning off. But anyhow, there's some screws under here, 3 of them. Tighten them up. Okay. Now once you tighten them up and tighten these up real good, then you have pretty much done everything except for one more thing I got to show you. Right here, this is how you remove that shaft. And I noticed that shaft this was not tightening up good. That shaft would still be loose. Now, the only thing that was keeping that shaft in was this little pin on the other side, which I am not really excited about because it's loose. It's real loose. It will go in there, but it wobbles. See, it wobbles around a little bit. But I did make marks on there where I know where it lines up with the felt marker. That way I know where it will line up to get that in there. But one thing I did do that was helpful is I removed this all the way. Come on, I'm going to show you everything. there's a nut on the other side. Now what I did here is I took this shaft out. Well, you got to pull this little pin. You got to pull this little pin here. Careful, don't go crazy with it. And just rock this back and forth until it comes out. Pull. Okay, now once I remove this, then I took a pair of vice grips. This is not tightening up enough. The only thing that's holding it in there is this little pin, and that's not enough. You need this tight. So I took a pair of vice grips and put it on there and carefully, not crazily, just carefully mashed it a little bit. Just closed it off. Just close it off a little bit. No, that ain't enough. See how it closed it off? That way it would tighten it better. See it closing it off? But also, I want to show you something else I did. I took a little bitty washer. I don't know if I can even get it off of there. It has to be the size of this shaft, the washer. This is a lock washer. I slid it down on there because, see, there it is. There's the little washer. Because this plastic piece here goes up inside here. It goes up inside there, and that plastic builds up friction against the metal housing here, and this won't tighten it up enough. Of course, I did the mashing with the pliers, the vice grips, but then when I added this piece of metal here in there, where it will slide up against this metal, and put the nut back in there, the nut's got to go in that special hole over here. This made it tighter, where I could tighten it down easier. It spins easier. And now, the shaft that I put in there, it will tighten it down. Let me find a shaft. I can't do it right there. Okay, I gotta loosen it up. See, it won't even go in there. That's what you want. You want it where it's tight. Okay, I can see the hole right here. So I had marked this one. Pull the pin, go down, let go of the pin, it will find its hole. You gotta spin it around a little bit. There you go, just going in. There, the pin dropped into place just then. Pin dropped into place. I'm gonna be able to tighten this up. This is what's holding it. That's why you need that little washer in there. You need to squeeze this here without this being in there. Just look at the video. Okay, now you need to pull the pin, and this ain't coming out. This is in there because this tightens up more now because of the little washer and squeezing that. Made a big difference because when I first was messing with it, it stayed loose. It was loose. It was loose. There was some gentleman video showed where he'd messed his shaft up because this come loose. He didn't understand why though. I work with stuff all the time. That's why I know what to do or try to do. But now it's tight. It tightened up because of that washer nut. See, it's tight in there. And check all your screws down here. Check all these screws. Check all the screws, make sure they're tight. And if you after you go to working with this, after maybe an hour or two, or an hour, whatever, stop and check them all. And if they're loose, put a little Loctite on it. We learned this from working on motorcycles. I've been on one all my life. I had a Triumph Bonneville. It shook like a Harley. And I eventually had to use Loctite on there to keep the... Every time I'd get home, I'd go for a ride, I'd come back to the house, and either one had done vibrated out, or I'd check them, they're all loose. But this may do the same thing. But you need to put a little Loctite on there if they're loose. Get you some tools. That's it, guys. I hope I showed you something. It was helpful. It's helped me out, because I wanted to do all this stuff I showed you right out of the box. I haven't even used it at all. I took it out of the box and I went on and started checking things out, lubing things, oiling things, spraying things down, and making sure everything's tight. And now when I get out there in the wild wonders, look, woods, wild wonders everywhere. Ooh, look at all that stuff that needs to be cut. Wild wonders. Ooh, there's stuff back up in there I need to cut. I'm getting imaginations now. Ooh, back up in there. But anyhow, guys, I hope you have some good service out of it, because it's a good unit. Vevar, or whatever, how you pronounce it, I bought their stuff before. It's inexpensive, but it's good stuff. It holds up. But you got to take care of it. You got to lube it. You got to make sure everything's tight. Use the Loctite, whatever it takes. Talk at you later. Bye.
Wow.